Captain Ji-won pressed his face against the cold glass of his ship's window. Space looked empty, but it was not. Pieces of broken ships floated everywhere. Some were big, some were small. All of them were dead. The Kepler sector had become a graveyard. For 3 long years, the Vorthan Empire and the Nexus Federation had been fighting here. Both sides wanted control of this part of space. Both sides were losing. "Captain," said Communications Officer Minho from behind him. "We found something strange." Ji-won turned around. Minho was young for his job, but he was good at it. His blue skin was darker than usual. That meant he was worried. "What did you find?" Ji-won asked. "A ship, but it's not one of ours. And it's not one of theirs either." Ji-won walked to Minho's station. On the screen was a picture of a ship floating in space. It looked old. Very old. Its metal hull was covered in scratches and burn marks. Strange symbols were painted on its side. The symbols did not match any language in their computer. "How big is it?" Ji-won asked. "About the same size as our ship," Minho said. "But Captain, look at this." Minho touched his screen. New numbers appeared. "The ship is barely using any power, almost like it's sleeping, and there are only 5 life forms inside." 5? Ji-won was surprised. A ship that size usually needed at least 50 crew members. "Are they dead?" "No, sir. They're alive, but their bodies are different from ours. The computer cannot tell what species they are." Ji-won stared at the strange ship. It did not move. It just floated there like a ghost. "Any weapons?" "That's the weird part," Minho said. "Our scans show the ship has weapons, but they're all turned off, like the ship doesn't want to fight." Lieutenant Seokmin walked over from his station. He was the ship's security chief. His red eyes were bright with excitement. "Captain, I know what this is." "Tell me." "It's a ghost ship," Seokmin said. His voice was full of respect and fear. "My grandfather told me stories about them. Ships that appear during big wars. They're crewed by ancient warriors from the old times." Ji-won had heard those stories too. Every child in the galaxy knew them. Ghost ships were legends. They showed up when civilizations fought their biggest battles. The warriors inside were said to be the best fighters who ever lived. They would pick one side to help. The side they chose always won. "You think it's real?" Ji-won asked. "Look at it," Seokmin said, pointing at the screen. "Old hull, unknown symbols, mysterious crew, and it appeared right in the middle of our war zone. What else could it be?" Minho nodded. "The electromagnetic readings are strange too. The ship gives off energy patterns I've never seen before. It's like their technology is more advanced than ours, but also different somehow." Ji-won studied the ship again. If it really was a ghost ship, this changed everything. The war had been going badly for both sides. Neither the Vorthans nor the Nexus Federation was winning. They just kept destroying each other's ships and people. "Send a message to command," Ji-won ordered. "Tell them we found something important." 2 hours later, Ji-won's communication system beeped. The face of Admiral Tae-hyung appeared on the screen. The Admiral's purple skin looked tired. Dark circles surrounded his 4 eyes. "Captain Ji-won," the Admiral said. "I received your report. Are you certain about what you found?" "Yes, sir. The ship matches all the stories. Old design, unknown crew, advanced technology." Admiral Tae-hyung was quiet for a moment. "This could be the answer to our problems. If we can get the ghost ship to join our side, we can finally win this war." "What are your orders, sir?" "Watch the ship. Don't get too close. Don't make them angry. But stay near enough to act if the Nexus Federation tries to contact them first." The transmission ended. Ji-won looked back at the mysterious ship. It had not moved at all. But somehow he felt like it was watching them too. On the other side of the battle zone, Commander Seokjin of the Nexus Federation was having the same conversation with his superiors. His ship had also detected the ghost ship. His green skin was pale with worry. "A ghost ship," said Fleet Admiral Yoongi through the communication screen. His voice was deep and serious. "Are you absolutely sure?" "The evidence is clear," Seokjin replied. "Unknown design, Minimal power signature, small crew of an unidentified species. It appeared right after yesterday's battle. Then we must act, quickly. The Vorthons have probably found it too. We cannot let them reach the ghost ship first. Seokjin nodded. Should we try to communicate with them? Not yet. Ghost ships choose their allies carefully. They watch both sides before they decide. Show them our strength. Let them see that we are the better warriors. Meanwhile, aboard the mysterious ship, 5 figures sat in a small room. They looked nothing like the Vorthons or the Nexus Federation. They had no scales, no extra eyes, no colored skin. They looked surprisingly ordinary. Captain Hunsik rubbed his tired eyes. He was human, though neither alien side knew what humans were. Around him sat his crew: Engineer Sunwoo, Medical Officer Nayoung, Navigator Dohyun, and Communications Specialist Chaeyoung. They're calling us a ghost ship, Chaeyoung said, reading the alien communications she had intercepted. They think we're ancient warriors. Nayoung laughed, but it was not a happy sound. Ancient warriors. If only they knew we're just refugees. Their ship, the Sabyok, was not a warship. It was a colony vessel from Earth. They had been traveling to establish humanity's first settlement on another world. But when they arrived, they found their destination planet destroyed by this very war. Now they were stuck. Their ship was slowly breaking down. Food was running low. They needed help, but they were afraid to ask for it. The 2 alien sides were so busy fighting each other that they might attack any unknown ship on sight. What do we do? Sunwoo asked. Both alien fleets are watching us now. They're waiting for us to pick a side. We can't pick a side, Hyunsik said firmly. This war is destroying everything. Look at all the dead ships out there. Look at all the lives lost. Dohyun was studying his navigation charts. Captain, I've been analyzing the battle patterns. Both sides are getting desperate. Their attacks are becoming more aggressive, more reckless. Which means more people will die, Nayoung said sadly. Chaeyoung continued monitoring alien communications. They're both planning to send envoys to us. They want to make deals. Hyunsik stood up and walked to a small window. Outside, he could see the lights of alien ships in the distance. 2 fleets, watching each other, waiting for war. Let them come, he said finally. But we won't be what they expect. The ghost ship continued to drift silently through space. Neither side approached it yet, but both sides were preparing. The Vorthons and the Nexus Federation both believed that the mysterious ship held the key to victory. They were right about one thing. The ship would change everything, but not in the way they expected. Inside the Sabyok, 5 humans prepared to meet aliens for the first time. They had no idea that their simple desire to survive would soon challenge everything the galaxy thought it knew about war, strength, and what it truly meant to be a warrior. The Phantom Drifter waited in the darkness, carrying secrets that would shake 2 civilizations to their core. Captain Hyunsik walked through the quiet halls of the Sabyok. His footsteps echoed in the empty corridors. The ship felt too big for just 5 people. It had been built to carry 2,000 colonists to a new world. Now it was almost empty. He stopped at a large window and looked out at space. In the distance, alien ships moved like bright dots against the black sky. They were watching his ship, waiting. They thought he was something he was not. "Captain," called Engineer Sunwoo from behind him. "We need to talk." Hyunsik turned around. Sunwoo looked worried. His clothes were dirty from working in the engine room all day. In his hands he held a small device that beeped softly. "What is it?" Hyunsik asked. "The life support system," Sunwoo said. "It's getting worse. The air filters are breaking down. The water recycler is making strange noises, and the power core is losing energy faster than before." Hyunsik felt his heart sink. "How long do we have?" "Maybe 3 months. 4 if we're lucky." 3 months. Hyunsik closed his eyes. They had been traveling through space for 2 years since their colony planet was destroyed. 2 years of hoping to find a new home. 2 years of watching their ship slowly die around them. "There's more," Sunwoo continued. "The hull has small cracks from all the space debris we've hit. Nothing dangerous yet, but they're getting bigger. Can you fix any of it? Sun Wu shook his head. I need parts. Special parts that we don't have. The kind of parts that only come from big space stations or planets with advanced technology. The two men stood in silence for a moment. Around them, the ship hummed quietly. It was the sound of machines working hard to keep them alive, but even the humming sounded tired. The aliens out there, Hyunsik said slowly. They have advanced technology. Yes, Sun Wu agreed. Much more advanced than ours in some ways, but different. Their ships use energy sources we don't understand. Their materials are strange to us. Hyunsik nodded. Ever since they arrived in this sector, they had been studying the alien technology. Communications specialist Chae-young had learned to understand their languages. Navigator Do-yun had mapped their star charts. Medical officer Na-young had analyzed their biology from the wreckage of destroyed ships. They had become experts on 2 civilizations that didn't even know humans existed. Captain, said a voice from the ship's communication system. It was Chae-young. Please come to the bridge. Both alien fleets are moving. Hyunsik and Sun Wu hurried to the bridge. It was the heart of their ship, filled with screens and control panels. Chae-young sat at her station wearing headphones. Her fingers moved quickly over her keyboard. What's happening? Hyunsik asked. The Vorthons are preparing to send a small ship to us, Chae-young said. Captain Ji-won is asking his admiral for permission to make contact. And the Nexus Federation? Commander Seokjin is doing the same thing. Both sides want to talk to us, but they're being very careful. They don't want to make us angry. Navigator Do-yun looked up from his charts. Captain, I've been studying the battle patterns again. This war is not what it seems. What do you mean? Do-yun pointed to his screen. It showed a map of the galaxy with different colored areas. Look at this. The Vorthon Empire used to control these systems. Rich planets with good resources. But look at them now. Hyunsik looked closer. Many of the colored areas had changed to gray. What happened to them? Their suns are dying, Do-yun said quietly. Some are getting too hot. Others are getting too cold. The planets can't support life anymore. The same thing is happening to the Nexus Federation, Chae-young added. She had been listening to alien news broadcasts for months. Their homeworlds are becoming uninhabitable. That's why they're fighting. Medical officer Na-young joined them on the bridge. She had been working in the medical bay, but she had heard their conversation. They're not fighting for power, she said. They're fighting to survive. The truth hit them all at once. This war wasn't about conquest or glory. It was about desperation. Both alien civilizations were slowly dying. Their planets were becoming unlivable. They needed new worlds to call home. And they were willing to destroy each other to get them. How? Many worlds are they fighting over? Hyunsik asked. Do-hyun checked his charts. Only 12 planets in this sector can support life. Both sides need at least 6 planets each to relocate their populations. But there aren't enough for everyone. So they fight, Sun Wu said sadly. They destroy each other's ships and kill each other's people, hoping that fewer survivors will mean more planets for the winners. Chae-young took off her headphones. Captain, I've been listening to their personal communications. The soldiers don't want to fight anymore. They're tired. They miss their families. But their leaders keep ordering more battles. The leaders are scared, Na-young said. If they stop fighting, their people will die when their home planets become uninhabitable. If they keep fighting, their people die in battle. Either way, they lose. Hyunsik sat down in his captain's chair. Around him, his crew looked sad and tired. They had learned too much about this war. They had seen too much death and destruction. What, about us? He asked quietly. We need help too. Our ship is dying. We need parts, supplies, maybe even a new ship. Should we ask one of the sides to help us? In exchange for what? Sun Wu asked. They think we're ancient warriors. They want us to help them fight. But we're not warriors, Na-young said. We're colonists, scientists, explorers. We came here to build, not to destroy. Chae-young put her headphones back on. Captain, the Vorthon ship is getting closer. Captain Jiwan will be here in 2 hours. He's bringing gifts and weapons as offerings. And the Nexus Federation? Commander Seokjin is also coming. He'll arrive 3 hours after the Vorthons. He's bringing technology and promises of alliance. Hyunsik stood up and walked to the main window again. Outside, the alien fleets waited in the darkness. 2 civilizations on the edge of extinction, hoping that 5 mysterious strangers could save them. But the 5 strangers were just as desperate, just as lost, just as afraid. "We have to make a choice," he said finally. "Help one side win the war, or what?" Sunwoo asked. "I don't know yet, but there has to be another way. A way that doesn't involve more death." Navigator Do-yun was studying his star charts again. "Captain, there's something else. I've been mapping the unexplored systems beyond this sector. There are hundreds of planets out there. Many of them could support life. But they're far away," Chae-young said. "And both alien civilizations are too busy fighting to explore them. They don't have time," Na-young added. "Their home planets are dying now. They need solutions now." Hyunsik nodded slowly. Time was the enemy for everyone. The aliens were running out of time to save their people, and the humans were running out of time to save themselves. "What if we told them the truth?" he asked suddenly. "What if we explained that we're not ancient warriors? That we're just refugees like them? They might attack us," Sunwoo warned. "If they find out we can't help them win the war, they might see us as a threat instead of an ally. Or they might not believe us," Chae-young said. "They want to believe, in the ghost ship legend. They need hope." Hyunsik looked at each of his crew members. They had been through so much together. They had lost their home, their mission, their future, but they still had each other, and they still had their humanity. "When the envoys arrive," he said, "we'll listen to what they have to say. We'll learn what they truly need. And then we'll decide how to help them." "Help them?" Na-young asked. "Even if it means we can't help ourselves?" Hyunsik smiled for the first time in days. "Maybe helping them is how we help ourselves. Maybe that's what makes us human." Outside, the alien fleets continued their silent watch. Soon their representatives would board the mysterious ship. They would meet the crew they thought were legendary warriors. Instead, they would find something much more dangerous to their preconceptions. They would find people who cared about strangers' suffering more than their own survival. The silent watchers prepared to break their silence, and the galaxy would never be the same. Captain Hyunsik stood on the bridge of the Saebyok, watching another explosion light up the darkness of space. The flash was bright orange and red, like a flower blooming and dying in seconds. He counted to 10, then the sound reached them through their sensors, a deep rumble that made the ship shake slightly. "How many this time?" he asked quietly. Communications specialist Chae-young checked her screen. Her face looked pale. 250 crew members, Captain. The ship was a Nexus Federation cruiser. 250 lives. Gone. Just like that. Hyunsik closed his eyes and tried not to think about the families who would never see their loved ones again. It had been 1 week since the alien envoys visited their ship. 1 week since both sides had tried to win the humans over to their cause. And in that week, the war had gotten much worse. Lieutenant Jiwan of the Vorthon Empire had come first. He was young and nervous, carrying gifts of rare metals and energy, crystals. He spoke carefully, using words he had learned from their computer translations. "Great warriors of the ghost ship," he had said, bowing deeply. "My people offer you these gifts. Join us and we will share our victory with you. Help us defeat the Nexus Federation, and you will have honor beyond measure." 3 hours later, Commander Seokjin of the Nexus Federation had arrived. He was older and more confident. His gifts were advanced weapons and star charts showing hidden trade routes. "Ancient ones," he had said, also bowing. "My people have fought many wars. We know the value of true warriors. Stand with us against the Vorthons, and we will give you riches and territory beyond your dreams." Both aliens had been disappointed when Captain Hyunsik asked for time to think. They expected the legendary ghost ship warriors to choose quickly and decisively. Instead, they got a human who asked strange questions. "Why are you fighting?" Hyunsik had asked both envoys. "For survival," they both answered. "For our people's future." "How many of your people have died in this war?" The numbers were terrible. Millions of soldiers. Millions of civilians on destroyed planets. Entire worlds turned into battlefields. Now, a week later, the humans watched as the war grew even more desperate. Both sides were running out of ships, running out of soldiers, running out of time. "Captain," said Navigator Do-Yun from his station, "the Vorthan fleet is moving toward the Kasari system. It looks like they're planning a major attack. And the Nexus Federation? They're doing the same thing. Both fleets are heading for a collision course around the planet Kasari 4. Medical Officer Nayung looked up from her medical reports. "Kasari 4 is inhabited, isn't it? There are civilian colonies there." Do-Hyun nodded grimly. "About 3 million people. They're not part of either military, but they control the planet's mining operations. Both sides need those resources." Hyunsik felt sick. 3 million innocent people were about to become part of a battlefield. "Are the civilians evacuating?" "They can't," Chae-young said. She had been monitoring civilian communications. "They don't have enough ships, and even if they did, where would they go? Every habitable planet in this sector is already claimed by one side or the other." Engineer Sun-woo joined them on the bridge. His clothes were covered in oil and his hands were dirty from working on the ship's engines. "Captain, I've got good news and bad news." "Tell me the bad news first. Our power core is failing faster than I thought. We have maybe 2 months left, not 3. Hyunsik's heart sank. "And the good news? I've been studying the alien technology from the wreckage we've collected. I think I understand how their energy systems work. If we could get the right parts, I might be able to fix our ship using their technology." "What parts do we need?" Sun-woo handed him a list. "Power regulators from Vorthon ships, energy converters from Nexus Federation vessels, and quantum processors from either side. The problem is, we need parts from both civilizations to make it work. So we can't just ask one side for help," Na-young said. "We need both sides to cooperate." "Which they'll never do," Do-hyun added. "They hate each other too much." Chae-young suddenly sat up straight. "Captain, I'm getting emergency transmissions. From Kasari 4, the battle has started." On the main screen, they could see distant flashes of light. The 2 alien fleets were fighting around the planet. Even from far away, they could tell it was a massive battle. Ships were exploding every few minutes. "The civilians?" Hyunsik asked. "They're trapped on the planet's surface," Chae-young said. "Some of the orbital stations are already destroyed. Debris is falling from space." Na-young stood up quickly. "We have to help them." "How?" Sun-woo asked. "We have no weapons. Our ship is barely holding together. We can't fight an entire fleet." "We don't fight," Hyunsik said slowly. "We rescue." His crew looked at him in surprise. "Captain," Do-yun said carefully, "if we go to Kasari 4, both alien fleets will see us. They'll expect us to choose a side." "Then we choose neither," Hyunsik said. "We choose the civilians." For a moment, nobody spoke. Then Na-young smiled. "It's what humans do, isn't it? We help people who need help. Even if it puts us in danger," Sun-woo agreed. "Even if nobody asks us to," Chae-young added. Do-hyun was already working on his navigation computer. "I can plot a course through the asteroid field. It'll hide us from the main battle until we reach the planet." "How many people can our ship carry?" Hyunsik asked. "If we use the cargo bays and remove all the extra equipment, maybe 5,000. "People," Sun-woo calculated. "But Captain, that's only a tiny fraction of the civilians down there." "Then we make multiple trips," Hyunsik said firmly. "We save as many as we can." They worked quickly to prepare the ship. Sun-woo cleared out the cargo areas and set up temporary life support systems. Na-young prepared medical supplies for injured civilians. Chae-young programmed the ship's translators to handle emergency situations. Do-hyun plotted the safest route to the planet. As they worked, they could hear the sounds of battle getting louder. More explosions. More ships dying. The war was consuming everything in its path. "Captain," Chaeyoung said suddenly, "I'm getting a message from Admiral Taehyung of the Vorthon fleet. He's asking why we're moving toward the battle." "What should I tell him?" Hyunsuk thought for a moment. "Tell him we're going to save the people on Kasari 4. Just that?" "Just that." A few minutes later, Chaeyoung received a similar message from the Nexus Federation. Fleet Admiral Yoongi wanted to know their intentions. "Same answer," Hyunsuk said. The Sabyok moved quietly through space toward the burning planet. Behind them, both alien fleets continued their deadly dance of destruction. Ahead of them, 3 million civilians waited for help that might never come. "You know what this means, don't you?" Na-young said quietly. "Once we start rescuing civilians, both sides will know we're not really ancient warriors. We're just people who care about other people." "Will they attack us?" Sunwoo asked. "I don't know," Hyunsuk admitted, "but I know what happens if we do nothing. 3 million innocent people die while we watch." Do-hyun looked up from his charts. "Approaching the planet now, Captain. I can see the surface fires from here." On the main screen, Kasari 4 looked like a wounded animal. Parts of it glowed red from burning cities. Smoke covered large areas of the surface. In orbit, pieces of destroyed space stations fell like deadly rain. "Take us down," Hyunsuk ordered. "Let's go save some lives." As the Sabyok descended toward the planet, both alien fleets stopped fighting for a moment. They watched in confusion, as the legendary ghost ship ignored their war and headed straight for the civilians they had forgotten about. Neither side understood what they were seeing. Ancient warriors were supposed to care about victory and defeat, not about saving innocent lives. But the crew of the Sabyok weren't ancient warriors. They were humans. And humans had their own ideas about what made someone truly strong. The hunger of war had consumed 2 civilizations and millions of lives. Now 5 humans were about to show the galaxy that sometimes the greatest strength came not from fighting, but from refusing to let others suffer alone. The rescue mission was about to begin. The Sabyok flew through smoke and fire toward the surface of Kasari 4. Captain Hyunsuk gripped his chair as the ship shook from explosions in the sky above them. Pieces of destroyed space stations fell around them like burning meteors. "There," Navigator Do-hyun pointed to his screen. "A civilian shelter. I'm reading about 2,000 people inside." "Can we land nearby?" Hyunsuk asked. "The ground is rough, but I think so." "Captain, we're getting communications from the shelter. They're asking who we are." Communications specialist Chaeyoung put the message on the main speaker. A frightened voice spoke in the Nexus Federation language. "Unknown ship, please identify yourself. Are you here to evacuate us or attack us?" "Tell them we're here to help," Hyunsuk said. "Tell them we're going to take them somewhere safe." The ship landed with a heavy thud. Through the windows they could see scared civilians running toward them. There were adults and children, all carrying small bags with their most important belongings. Their faces were dirty from smoke and their eyes were wide with fear. Medical Officer Na-young was already at the cargo bay door. "I'm opening the bay. Sunwoo, are the life support systems ready?" Engineer Sunwoo checked his instruments. "Ready. We can support 5,000 people for about 6 hours." The civilians poured into the cargo bay. They spoke in different languages, some Nexus Federation, some Vorthon, some languages the humans had never heard before. Many were injured from falling debris. Children cried while their parents tried to comfort them. "My daughter," an older Vorthon woman said to Na-young in broken universal language. "She's hurt. Please help her." Na-young looked at the little girl. She had blue skin like her mother, but it was pale from pain. Her leg was bleeding from a cut. "Don't worry," Na-young said gently. She used her medical scanner to check the injury. "It's not serious. I can fix this." As Na-young worked on the child, other civilians watched in amazement. They had never seen medical technology like hers before. The scanner could see inside the body without cutting it open. The healing device closed wounds in seconds. "What kind of beings are you?" asked a Nexus Federation man. His green skin was covered in burns from The fires on the planet. Your technology is like nothing we've ever seen. Before Hyunsik could answer, alarms started sounding throughout the ship. Chaeyoung ran to her communication station. Captain, a Vorthan cruiser is falling toward the planet. It's been hit by enemy fire and it's going to crash. Through the main window, they could see a large ship spinning out of control. Black smoke poured from its engines. It was heading straight for a mountain where another civilian shelter was located. How many people on the cruiser? Hyunsik asked quickly. About 800 crew members, Do-hyun said, reading his sensors. And there are 3,000 civilians in the mountain shelter. If that ship crashes there, everyone will die, Hyunsik made his decision in seconds. Sunwoo, can our ship carry more weight? We're already overloaded, Captain. If we try to carry more people, we might not be able to fly. But we can try? Sunwoo nodded grimly. We can try. Take us up. We're going. To save both groups. The Saebyuk lifted off with difficulty. The extra weight of 2,000 civilians made the ship slow and clumsy, but Do-hyun was a skilled pilot. He guided them toward the falling cruiser. Chaeyoung, contact the Vorthan ship. Tell them we're going to help. Captain Ji-won is responding, Chaeyoung said after a moment. He says their engines are dead, they can't control their descent. He's asking how we plan to help them. Tell him to prepare his crew for evacuation. We're going to get as close as we can. What happened next amazed everyone watching from the alien fleets above. The mysterious ghost ship flew directly toward the falling cruiser. Using precise movements, it matched the cruiser's spinning motion. Then, impossibly, it extended mechanical arms from its hull and grabbed onto the larger ship. Sunwoo, Hyunsik called. Can we slow their fall? I'm trying. Sunwoo's hands flew over his controls. Our engines are at maximum power. I don't know if we can hold both ships. The two ships fell together toward the mountain, but slowly, gradually, the Saebyuk's engines began to win. The descent slowed. The spinning stopped. We need to get the crew off the cruiser now, Na-young shouted, before our engines give out. Working quickly, they extended an emergency bridge between the two ships. Vorthan crew members ran across, carrying their injured comrades. Captain Ji-won was the last to leave his ship. You saved us, he said to Hyunsik, his purple eyes wide with disbelief. But why? We thought you were going to choose the Nexus Federation as allies. We don't choose sides, Hyunsik said simply. We help anyone who needs help. With both ships' crews safely aboard, the Saebyuk released the cruiser and flew toward the mountain shelter. The cruiser crashed into an empty valley, exploding harmlessly, far from any civilians. At the mountain shelter, they found more scared families waiting for rescue. As they loaded these new refugees, something remarkable happened. Vorthan and Nexus Federation civilians began working together, helping each other carry injured people and sharing food and water. Look, whispered a young Nexus Federation boy to his mother. That Vorthan girl is crying. Should we help her? Yes, his mother said softly. Fear and pain are the same for everyone. Meanwhile, in the ship's medical bay, Na-young was treating patients from both alien species. She had never seen Vorthan or Nexus Federation anatomy before, but her human medical training taught her to adapt quickly. Your healing methods are amazing, said a Vorthan doctor who was helping her. But they're not like anything in our medical databases. What species are you? Na-young paused in her work. Around her, aliens from both sides were watching, waiting for her answer. The secret was about to come out. We're called humans, she said quietly. We come from a planet called Earth. The word spread quickly through the ship. Humans, a species nobody had ever heard of. The legendary ghost ship warriors were actually an unknown people with strange technology and stranger values. Captain Ji-won found Hyunsik on the bridge. You're not ancient warriors, are you? He asked. No, Hyunsik admitted. We're refugees, just like the people we're rescuing. Our ship is dying. We need help to survive. Then why did you save us? Why risk your lives for strangers? Hyunsik looked out at the stars where the two alien fleets were still fighting their endless war. Because that's what humans do. We help people who are in trouble, even if they're different from us. Even if it puts you in danger. especially then. As word spread to the alien fleets that the ghost ship was crewed by unknown aliens called humans, both sides stopped fighting temporarily. They watched in confusion as the human ship continued its rescue missions, saving civilians from both species without asking for anything in return. Admiral Tai-hyung of the Vorthan fleet sent a message. Humans of the ship Saebyok, why do you risk yourselves for our people? What do you want from us? Fleet Admiral Yoongi of the Nexus Federation asked the same question. What is your price for these rescues? What alliance do you seek? Hyunsik's answer was broadcast to both fleets. We want nothing except to save lives. We seek no alliance except with peace. For the first time in 3 years, both alien fleets had something more important to think about than destroying each other. They had discovered that strength didn't always come from weapons, and that the greatest warriors might be those who refused to fight. The deception was broken, the humans were revealed, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Saebyok floated in space between the two alien fleets. Inside the ship, over 8,000 refugees from both species lived together in the cargo bays. Vorthan children played games with Nexus Federation children. Adults shared stories and food. For the first time in years, members of both civilizations were not trying to kill each other. Captain Hyunsik stood on the bridge, looking at the communications from both fleets. Every few minutes, another message arrived. Some were angry, some were confused, but most were curious. Captain, Communications Specialist Chaeyoung said, Admiral Taehyung wants to speak with you directly. So does Fleet Admiral Yoongi. They're both asking for a meeting. At the same time? Hyunsik asked. Yes. They want to meet together, on our ship. Navigator Do-hyun looked surprised. The two fleet commanders haven't been in the same room for 3 years. They hate each other. Maybe they're more curious about us than they are angry at each other, Medical Officer Na-young suggested. She had just finished treating the last injured refugees. I've been talking to the civilians we rescued. They all say the same thing. They're tired of war. They want to go home to their families. Engineer Sunwoo joined them on the bridge. His face was serious. Captain, we have a problem. Our power core is failing faster than ever. All the rescue missions, the extra weight, the engine strain, it's too much. We have maybe 2 weeks left. Can the aliens help us fix it? That's the strange part. I've been talking to the engineers we rescued. The Vorthan technology could power our life support systems. The Nexus Federation technology could repair our hull. But we'd need both sides working together to save our ship. Hyunsik nodded slowly. Then we'll ask them to work together. Captain, Chaeyoung interrupted. The two admirals are requesting permission to come aboard. They want to bring small crews with them. Grant permission, but tell them they come unarmed, and tell them they'll be sharing the same meeting room. 2 hours later, the most important leaders of both alien civilizations sat around a table in the Saebyok's main conference room. Admiral Taehyung of the Vorthan Empire sat across from Fleet Admiral Yoongi of the Nexus Federation. They had not spoken to each other in years. Between them sat Captain Hyunsik and his crew of humans. So, Admiral Taehyung said, his 4 purple eyes focused on Hyunsik, you are the humans, the species nobody has heard of. We are, Hyunsik confirmed. We come from a planet far from here. We were traveling to start a new colony when we found your war. Fleet Admiral Yoongi leaned forward. His green skin was darker than usual, which meant he was thinking hard. Your technology is advanced, but different from ours. Your values are unusual. Why do you help both sides equally? Because both sides are suffering, Na-young answered. We've studied your war. Your home planets are dying. Your people are desperate. You're not fighting because you want to. You're fighting because you think you have to. We do have to, Admiral Taehyung said angrily. There aren't enough habitable planets for both our civilizations. One of us must win, or both of us will die. Do-hyun activated a holographic display above the table. It showed a 3-dimensional map of local space. That's not true, he said quietly. The two admirals stared at the map. It showed the current war zone, but it also showed much more. Beyond the fighting, there were dozens of star systems they had never explored. "I've been studying your star charts," Do-hyun continued. "You've both been so focused on fighting each other that you've ignored the rest of the galaxy. Look here and here and here." He pointed to different areas of the map. "Planets that could support life, resources that could save both your civilizations." "Those systems are too far away," Fleet Admiral Yoongi objected. "Our ships don't have the range to reach them." "Ours do," Sun Woo said. "Human ship technology is different from yours. We built our ships for long-distance travel, but our ships are dying, and we need your help to fix them." "You're proposing an alliance," Admiral Tae-hyung said slowly. "We're proposing something better," Hyun-sik said. "We're proposing friendship." Chae-young activated another display. This one showed communication records from the past week. "Listen to this," she said. "These are messages from your own soldiers and civilians." The recorded voices filled the room. Vorthon soldiers saying they missed their families. Nexus Federation pilots talking about friends they had lost. Civilians from both sides asking when the war would end. "Your people don't want to fight anymore," Chae-young said. "They want to go home. They want to build instead of destroy." "But how do we trust each other?" Fleet Admiral Yoongi asked. "How do we know the other side won't attack when we're not ready?" "The same way we trusted you," Na-young said simply. "We chose to help instead of hurt. We chose to save lives instead of taking them." Admiral Tae-hyung looked at Fleet Admiral Yoongi. "Your medical officer treated my wounded crew members. Your engineers helped repair our damaged ships," Fleet Admiral Yoongi replied. "Working together, your technologies complement each other," Sun Woo added. "Vorthon energy systems with Nexus Federation materials science. Add human long-range technology, and we could build ships that could reach any planet in the galaxy." Hyun-sik stood up and walked to the window. Outside, he could see both alien fleets, ships that had been built for war, now floating peacefully in space. "3 years ago, you both had everything," he said. "Planets, resources, peaceful lives. Then your world started dying and you turned your tools into weapons. You turned your neighbors into enemies." He turned back to face the two admirals. "But what if you turned your weapons back into tools? What if you turned your enemies back into neighbors?" "You make it sound simple," Admiral Tae-hyung said. "It is simple," Hyun-sik replied. "It's just not easy." For a long moment, nobody spoke. Then Fleet Admiral Yoongi asked quietly, "What exactly are you proposing?" Do-hyun activated the star map again. "Joint exploration missions, combined technology development, shared colonies on new worlds. Instead of fighting over 12 planets, we could find hundreds of planets for everyone." "And the humans?" Admiral Tae-hyung asked. "What do you get from this?" "A home," Hyun-sik said simply. "Our ship is dying. Our people are lost. We need friends, not allies. We need family, not subjects." Chae-young received a message on her communication device. "Captain, the refugees in our cargo bays are requesting permission to speak with their leaders. Grant it." The conference room doors opened and a small group of civilians entered. There were Vorthons and Nexus Federation members, adults and children, all together. "Admirals," said an older Vorthon woman. "My name is Dr. Mi-young. I speak for the refugees you see here. We have a request." "What is it?" Admiral Tae-hyung asked. "Don't go back to war," said a young Nexus Federation man named Ho-sung. "We've been living together on this ship for a week. We've shared food, helped each other's children, worked together to repair things. We've learned that we're not so different. Want to build something together," said a Vorthon engineer named Kangmin. "We want our children to grow up as friends, not enemies." A small Nexus Federation girl named Ji-young stepped forward. In her hands, she held a drawing she had made. It showed stick figures of different colors holding hands around a planet. "I drew this for you," she said, offering it to both admirals. "It's all of us together on a new world where nobody fights." Admiral Tae-hyung took the drawing with trembling hands. Fleet Admiral Yoongi leaned over to look at it. Both of these powerful military leaders who had spent years trying to destroy each other stared at a child's simple picture of peace. "What do you say?" Hyunsik asked quietly. Are you ready to try something new? Admiral Taehyung looked at Fleet Admiral Yoongi. If we do this, it has to be real. No tricks, no secret weapons, no plans for betrayal. Agreed, Fleet Admiral Yoongi said. We work together or not at all. The two admirals stood up. Slowly, carefully, they reached across the table and shook hands. It was the first peaceful contact between their civilizations in 3 years. Where do we start? Admiral Taehyung asked. Sunwoo smiled. We start by fixing our ship. Together. Vorthan Power Systems, Nexus Federation materials, human engineering. If we can make it work, we'll have a ship capable of reaching any star in the galaxy. And then? Fleet Admiral Yoongi asked. Do-hyun pointed to the star map. Then we go exploring. All of us. Together. We find new worlds for everyone. We build cities instead of weapons. We write history instead of ending it. As the meeting ended and the two admirals returned to their fleets, Hyunsik remained on the bridge. Through the main window, he watched something remarkable happen. Ships from both fleets were moving closer together. Not to fight, but to begin working together. Captain, Chae-young said, I'm receiving messages from across both fleets. They're volunteering to help repair our ship. Engineers, scientists, medical officers, everyone wants to contribute. Na-young joined them at the window. Do you think it will work? Can they really stop fighting each other? They already have, Hyunsik said. Look,